Welcome to understanding the BlueSky smoke forecast system. In this tutorial, we will go under the hood of the forecast and discuss some of the more frequently asked questions about the forecast system. We will also go over some of the other tools that may aid you in your interpretation of our smoke forecast. Throughout the tutorial, links to reference web pages will be included at the bottom of the screen for your ease of following along. If you have not already, please navigate to our Interpreting BlueSky Smoke Forecast video, which will walk you through the user interface of the smoke forecast. We're about to go behind the scenes of the user interface, and therefore, it's important that you understand the site before proceeding through this tutorial. So, what is the BlueSky Canada Smoke Forecast? The Smoke Forecast is a research project led by UBC researchers and various governments, with the purpose of helping researchers, governments, and first responders to better understand the behavior of smoke across Canada and the United States. Simply put, it takes inputs of fuel types, active fire locations and sizes, and weather, and then models the fire and its emissions to then disperse generated smoke out over the map of North America. An in-depth rundown of all the components can be found using the link at the bottom of the screen. A deeper understanding of the forecast can be found by explaining three big components of its operation. Firstly, it's an experimental research-based forecast. It is produced using a modeling system that's an ongoing research project, which means it will continuously evolve over time. Secondly, the forecast is highly dependent on satellite data for fire detections, which may lead to inaccuracies in the forecast. And lastly, the forecast is based on a numerical weather prediction model with coarse resolution, which means that exact locations of smoke plumes may vary in real life from what is shown on the map. However, the direction and magnitude of the smoke is a great indication of what regions can expect over the course of the forecast. While all three of these components are important to understand, the part that has the most significant impact on our forecast's accuracy is the satellite detections of fires. To understand why, let's take a closer look. Fire activity data that our model receives is primarily based on satellite detects. This comes from two different satellite databases, MODIS and VIIRS. MODIS satellite detections occur 1 to 2 times per day, and VIIRS occur 3 to 4 times per day at mid-latitudes. Some secondary data comes from ground reports of fires, however, this is a much lesser part of the dataset as they are not updated as regularly. Unfortunately, inaccuracies can arise as fires may not be detected by satellites, and they fail to be included in the forecast. There are several reasons why MODIS or VIIRS may not detect a certain fire. For example, the fire may have started and ended between satellite observations. Or potentially, cloud cover, heavy smoke, or tree canopy may have completely obscured the fire when the satellite was passing overhead. There are also cases where the fire may have been too small or too cool to be detected, as most fires cannot be detected if they are smaller than 1 kilometer squared, unless they are burning very hot. There are some exceptions to this, as some newer systems like the VIIRS 375-meter active fire product provide a greater response over smaller fires due to their higher spatial resolution and improved nighttime performance. But this does not represent all satellite data that's inputted into our forecast. After all these satellite detections are made, the data is then sent to our model and fed into the smoke forecast. But sometimes, even if the satellites successfully pick up a fire, it may not be included in the forecast due to the time delay between when the satellite detects the fire and when our forecast uses it. The BlueSky smoke forecast only runs 4 times per day due to computational capacity. So if the satellite detection happens just after a run is completed, it will be another 6 to 8 hours before the new fire is included in the forecast, and it may not be included at all if the fire goes out or is obscured before the next run occurs. However, for most fires, these issues are not permanent, and the fire and its forecasted smoke will be included in future runs. Now, consider a day where satellites had no issues picking up fires, and timing is not a problem. Why do our forecast maps' fire locations and perimeters still differ from provincial maps? This is because provincial maps use ground report data as their primary source of fire data, which are updated on a much more variable basis due to fire conditions and dynamics. In comparison, our forecast primarily uses the hotspot satellite data, which changes over the course of the day and shows approximately where the fire is currently burning and still giving off heat. In addition, we do not receive timely and reliable ground reports from all agencies. However, this data may be included in their fire maps. They also warn that they may not be accurate and up-to-date, but can be used for general purposes. More information about the satellite detections that feed into our smoke forecast, as well as a compilation of Fire Agency ground report data, can be found at the Fire Information for Resource Management System website. This site is also known as FIRMS, and it shows both active fires and fire symbols, and satellite detects of current fires as red or dark red squares, depending on which satellite detected it. Using FIRMS, we can see what hotspots cause the current fire perimeters on the BlueSky smoke forecasts. When we go to their website, the default for the basic mode is viewing hotspots 24 hours into the past, but you can change this by selecting one of the other time options. You can also see the date in which you wish to see data back from by clicking on the calendar button. I will now show you how you can use this tool to investigate if satellite detections are at fault for fire errors on the smoke forecast map. If fires are missing from the BlueSky smoke forecast, the first thing you want to do is take note of the day of the forecast you are looking at. You will then want to select one day prior to this in the FIRMS calendar. You will also want to select the 1 day option in the timeframe dropdown, as you will only want to see the hotspots for that particular day. Seeing the previous day's hotspots and FIRMS will show you the most recent hotspots fed into the BlueSky smoke forecast. The smoke forecast accounts for emissions hotspots up to 72 hours in the past. However, the previous day will have the most weight when showing up in the smoke forecast. After viewing the previous day's hotspots, you can also select 2 and 3 days into the past for more information. Let's walk through a scenario together. Let's say we're interested in the smoke forecast for August 16th, 2024 in this specific region of British Columbia near Whistler. As you can see, there are 4 fires populated on the map. In FIRMS, we'll travel to this same region, and then we'll use the calendar button to select the day before this, which is August 15th, 2024. Just to note that when you're making these selections, you'll need to be patient, as FIRMS can take a few seconds to populate layers on the map. We now see satellite detects for hotspots for August 15th, 2024. These will be the main satellite detections fed into the BlueSky smoke forecast model for August 16th, 2024. Comparing this previous day of satellite detections with our smoke forecast, we see agreement between all of the fires within this small region, as the 3 fires near Pemberton, as well as the one burning in Clendening Park, were detected as hotspots. For any missing fire that you're concerned about, we suggest you check out our BlueSky Playground Express tool to get a quick estimate of where its smoke could go over the next couple of days. To learn more about this tool, check out our tutorial video found at the link at the bottom of the screen. If you still want more information regarding either our BlueSky smoke forecast or the FIRMS page, you can check out the BlueSky Canada FAQ on firesmoke.ca or the FIRMS FAQ page. Both links are presented here. If this information doesn't satisfy your needs, you can reach out using our contact page found at firesmoke.ca/contact. Thank you for your interest in BlueSky Canada smoke forecasts. Make sure to check out our other tutorials to take a deeper dive into our smoke and fire weather forecasts.